Hello, 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 everyone. I hope you all are feeling good, smelling good, looking good, have eaten something good, drank something good. Why? Because you deserve it. Yes, you do. My name is Akila Peinado. For all of you who don't know me, and there shouldn't be too many of y'all that know me because I'm not known. But I have a podcast named Conversations with Akila where I have a lot to say, okay? And I've been having a blast. Well, I did have a blast creating those podcast episodes, but I wanted to give YouTube another try because I'm interested in long form conversation. And Instagram is pretty cool with like reels and stories. I get a lot of engagement via stories with the things that I discuss over there. So I said, maybe YouTube would be a great place for me to do long form. Oh, TikTok too. My TikTok gets great engagement on some of the things that I discuss over there as well. So I'm like, if I could elaborate a little bit more, that'd be pretty good. So I want to talk about things that interest me because, like books, I love books. I love to read. I love having a lot of books around me. I just love them. I love bookstores. I love authors. I've been blessed to speak to some of my faves over on my podcast. And hopefully I'll get to do the same thing on YouTube. I don't know. What else? And then I want to talk about like some of the other nerdy, quirky things that interest me. For example, Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, that is a touchy topic for those who know what Unsolved Mysteries is. It's a show, I believe, that started in the mid to late 80s that talked about unsolved mysteries, things that murders, missing people, cases that make you go, I wonder what really happened here. You know, like what is that all about? So I watch Unsolved Mysteries every day. Yes. Even the Robert Stack Unsolved Mysteries, the scariest of the scariest. That as a kid, it used to creep me out. Like, make no mistake. But for some reason, I've just had this newfound love for it in my adulthood. And I watch it every day. Even the kids watch with me. Like, I watch it every day. And there are some cases on there that really make me stop and pause. Now, Unsolved Mysteries has been over, the original Robert Stack Unsolved Mysteries has been over for a few years now. More than a few years, I'm sure. And then they did a reboot in the 2000s with Dennis Farina, which was just a reiteration of many of the stories that they had did on the original Unsolved Mysteries. And then in, was it 2016? I believe Netflix rebooted Unsolved Mysteries, and that is now what is being played over there. There are about 5 seasons. Most seasons up until season 4 consisted of about like 8 or 9, I think, episodes. Season 4 was about 4 episodes, and season 5 was about another 4 episodes. And I have some on the new reboot of Unsolved Mysteries that really like live rent free in my head, like the one I'm going to discuss in a few minutes. So I'm like, I know my husband is tired of me talking to him about it, and my best friend, God bless her wherever she stands, I know she's tired of it too. She don't even want to talk about Unsolved Mysteries. Like, girl, please, like, don't even talk to me about that. My sister, we can talk about Unsolved Mysteries. She'll watch them, but she's in school getting her master's, so she busy. So I said, you know what? Let me bring it over here to talk to you about it. Yes, you. If you are watching, I want you to engage with me by subscribing, and I would like for you to comment your likes, dislikes, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, so we can continue this long form conversation over here. Oh yes, also share with those who you think might be interested in this as well. It's not just going to be Unsolved Mysteries, it's going to be other things too, but you can share it, help me out. I really do appreciate it. So in season 3, got my trusty dusty notebook here. In season 3 of Unsolved Mysteries, I want to say of them all, this case lives rent free in my head. I mean, sometimes like I'll be doing my hair, brushing my teeth, or just like in my quiet time, I'd be like, what happened to Tiffany Valiante? Like, literally, I'll be like, what really happened that night? You know, like, what really went down? Let me start from the beginning. So this is Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, season 3, episode 1. And the title of this episode is Mystery at Mile Marker 45. You'll find out why soon if you don't know about it. Some of the key points of this story, let me let you know what they are. First episode of season 3, Mystery at Mile Marker 45, investigates the case of Tiffany Valiante, who died when she was hit by an oncoming train. Oh, trigger warning. Trigger warning. Suicide, possible discussion of rape. Just be aware. Yeah, she died when, they're saying, she was hit by an oncoming train. That grabbed my attention immediately for watching, because how many people can say they know someone that died by a train? What makes this even more crazy, she was 18 years old. Odd, right? White female, sports athlete, and it takes place in New Jersey. So that actually even grabbed my attention even a little bit more. It happened in 2015, July 12, 2015, and they are ruling this case officially on the paperwork as a suicide. As I stated before, she was a star athlete at Oak Crest High School, graduating with varsity letters in multiple sports. She had received a full scholarship to attend and play volleyball in college. I don't know how many people get that, but homegirl was able to get it. And on top of that, she was going to be starting as a center. So as a freshman center, and apparently like that's uncommon. Like that's not really heard of. I think that position is for more seasoned, older athletes in college. And she was awarded that position because of how good she is. So keep that in mind. On July 12, 2015, at or around 9:15, Tiffany's family was having a party. I believe it was a graduation party for someone. They were having a party. They live in a very rural, small town it's close to Atlantic City. I think it's in Cumberland County. If you're familiar with New Jersey, if not, you can always Google that. It's in Cumberland County, and very close-knit community. Even like according to the when I watched it on Unsolved Mysteries, the street looked like pretty small. Like it didn't even look like a big street. Everyone knew everyone. Apparently Tiffany's family all lived. There was family that lived on that street, etc., etc. And around 9:15, she had left the party, went back home to take a shower and change. I'm not sure why she did that. I don't know if she had plans to go out. We're not sure. And they do not discuss that. And around that time, I believe her mother, Diane, was still at the party, but she received a phone call from one of Tiffany's friends. You know, okay, fine. When Diane answers the phone, Tiffany's friend is on the phone, upset, stating that Tiffany stole her debit card and used it. I believe the exact amount was $300, I read somewhere, worth of clothes and food. I'm not sure why she did that. Why, why did that happen? Stephen, her father, and Diane called Tiffany on the phone and was like, yeah, you need to come outside and help me discuss this. So apparently the friend was at Tiffany's house. So she drove to the house during this time of Tiffany coming outside, them trying to figure out what happened. Tiffany says she didn't do it. Tiffany tells her mother, I didn't do that. Like, no, Mom, I did not steal from my friend. Although it looks like the friend had proof. Yeah. So about 10 minutes after all of this happened, Tiffany's friend and the mother, homegirl brought her mother with her. You know what was going down. Left, drove off, according to Diane and Stephen. Because mind you, just to reiterate, Tiffany, Diane, mother, Stephen, father, Tiffany's friend, and her mother are all at the house at this point. So Tiffany's friend and her mother leave. They drive away, apparently. And Diane, mom, decides to go in Tiffany's car. Why? I don't know. But she felt like, let me go in Tiffany's car and just check and see, if Tiffany did do something she wasn't supposed to do. She goes inside Tiffany's car. And when she goes inside Tiffany's car to search, she sees Tiffany slipping the debit card back in her the friend's debit card back in her wallet. Now, this is the part, in her pocket. This is the part I didn't understand. How did the mother know that was Tiffany's friend debit card? I never understood that. And I didn't understand that in the episode either. However, Tiffany, Diane, mom, gets Tiffany to admit that she did take the friend's debit card. She did. She took it. And she said she used it, but she only spent $86. She only used it for $86. Either way, it's wrong. However, what's not clear to me, the viewer and the reader, is why did Tiffany do this? Mom and Tiffany get into an argument, and mom asks her, why did you do that? And you know better than that. Like, why would you steal someone else's debit card? Now, by all accounts, Tiffany comes from a very loving family, a family that loves her, a family that cares about her. They were very close knit. They didn't seem broke. They didn't seem poor. I don't know why Tiffany felt like she needed to steal. And this apparently wasn't the only time that Tiffany was accused of stealing. A few months earlier, she had been caught by her parents taking money from their bank account. Now, in the Unsolved Mysteries episode, that is not discussed. I'm going to tell you how, that was odd to me, because I didn't read anything about this case before I actually watched it. Of course, I didn't even know about this before I actually watched it. But I remember one time, because I watch this episode all the time. I remember watching this one time and wondering, why are they trying to make Tiffany come across so perfect? I'm like, there was something fishy about the way Tiffany was wonderful. Tiffany was excellent. Oh, she would never, and she could never. And I'm like, nobody is perfect. No one is without fault. No one is without flaw. Why do they keep trying to make it seem as if she was just as excellent all around, all American person? The only fault that they did admit was that Tiffany did say that she took the friend's debit card and she used it and she spent it. That was the only, and I think there was a reason why the show discussed that aspect. We'll get to that later on. At this time, Tiffany and her mother are arguing. Stephen, they're just all outside arguing and fighting, and Diane and Stephen go back inside. So this is between 9:24 and 9:28. Apparently at 9:28, they walk outside and they see that Tiffany is gone. They look left, they look right, they look up, they look down. No Tiffany. Tiffany was 6'2". Couldn't miss her. Even when I heard she was 6'2", I said, Jesus, she's the height of my husband. You can't miss them people. You know what I'm saying? They tall. They tall like crazy. They went inside, came back out. It looks like at 9:29, they went to look at the cameras to see if it was possible Tiffany went out somewhere, and she was caught on the camera just walking by. Just walking. She was fully clothed. She even had on her shoes at this time, and she just saw her walk away. And in the Unsolved Mystery episode, they even go further to state that there were headlights that were seen down the driveway when Tiffany was walking. Okay. Around 11 o'clock, while walking up and down, because at this point now they are horrified. They're calling Tiffany, texting her down, leaving voice messages, and nobody can find her. So they are doing their own little search party. They're figuring, oh, we just yelled at Tiffany. Tiffany just got in trouble. She just got caught doing something she wasn't supposed to do. She probably just ran off somewhere to blow off some steam. And, she's just trying to get better, before she comes back home, yada, yada, yada. Well, by 11 o'clock, they still ain't find Tiffany. And Stephen, the dad, retraces Tiffany's steps, and not too far from the house, they find her cell phone thrown on the ground. Whoa. Like her cell phone is within the vicinity of the house. It's on the street, not too far from where her home is. And he claimed that he had already looked in that area and he didn't see the cell phone. So how did the cell phone get there? They all go on to say that she would never leave her cell phone. She was a teenager. They love their cell phone. She always has her cell phone in her hand. Why would she throw the cell phone down and walk away? In my head, I was like, yeah, she probably threw the cell phone down and walked away because she just was upset and didn't want to be bothered. Maybe she knew where she threw the cell phone, but according to Dad, that cell phone wasn't there when he checked the first time. Apparently, she had the phone so much in her hand she would take showers with it. That is weird. Like, but whatever. When the cell phone was found, they were like, yeah, there is something seriously wrong here. Our daughter would not leave her cell phone anywhere. Our daughter would not just disappear like this for these amount of hours. Something is seriously wrong. So this is at 11 p.m. They're like, okay, we need to get the cops involved because what's going on here? At 11:12 p.m., a train comes across the bridge at Tilton Road in Galloway Township, heading towards Geneva Road. At 11:15 p.m. on a dark stretch track near Prague Avenue at mile 45, Tiffany was hit by a train, and it dragged her body for about a quarter of a mile before coming to a stop. This incident occurred about an hour and a half after she was last seen. Whoa. In the search looking for Tiffany, everyone's driving around now looking. Steven's brother, Tiffany's uncle, notices that there's a bunch of cops over by the train track. So I don't know what made him curious to go over there, but he does. He goes over there and he's like, oh, you know what happened here? Because right now we're looking for my niece. She cannot be seen. She was, she's walked away angry. We don't know what happened. And the police officer says to him, well, that's interesting because someone was just hit by the train tracks and they're dead. So the uncle is like, well, can I see? Can I look? Can I inquire? Oh gosh. And he did. And guys, it was Tiffany. She was basically along the train tracks, if you catch my drift. And it was not a pretty sight to see. During the investigation with the train operators, many mixed stories of what happened came out on oath and off oath. You can watch the television episode to find out exactly what was said and how it was said and whatever, or you can go read about it, or you can go on Reddit, because Reddit is lit with this episode. Like, Reddit is so lit. Like, they have so many different opinions as to what happened to her, and believe it or not, all of it is valid. Like, everything that I've read so far, like, nothing outlandish with some of these cases that you see. Some of these theories that I'm coming across, I'm like, that could have happened. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Uncle discovers her. He goes back home, and he tells Diane and Steven what happened to their baby girl, because Tiffany was the youngest. She had two older sisters. Tiffany, as Jamaicans would call it, was a wash belly. They did not expect to have her. She was the last, and apparently there's a decent age gap between the second child and her. So she was the baby of the family. That's who she was. So they find out. They're distraught. You could imagine they are distraught. What happened to our child? What Tiffany did, what she was discovered where. And of course, the dad, being who he is, he was ready to hightail it down to the train tracks because homeboy wanted to see his baby. And the brother was like, yeah, absolutely not. You are not going to do that, because as a parent or even as a human being, nobody needs to see that. It was very graphic apparently, and I'll get to that. Ultimately, one of the biggest theories, and ultimately what was on the death certificate, was suicide. New Jersey Transit Police by the next morning had deemed this a suicide and case closed. That was that. From as far as what I understand, there was no official investigation by the state police at the time. So New Jersey State Police at the time did not investigate, because this happened in New Jersey train track their jurisdiction. This was under their jurisdiction, so they let them take lead on it without overstepping or what have you. But that has caused many conflicting concerns because of the the graphicness of this situation. So I don't know. I got to check this out. Maybe I should check this out before I recorded this, but I don't know how many people die on the train tracks in New Jersey within the last 20 years. I don't know how many. I don't think it's a common way to go, and I also don't think it's a common way to commit suicide in general. I don't know what the statistics are around that. I'd have to investigate that. If you know, you can tell me. But they was just like, yeah, this person had to have killed himself. That is what happened. Case closed, over, done. And that was it. However, the family and family representatives believe that she was possibly raped and as a cover-up either thrown in front of the train tracks or was killed and laying on the train tracks because they either heard that the train was coming by or they knew that the train would be coming soon. And this would be their way of getting away with their crime. I don't know, right? Both theories make a lot of sense in theory. You know, I don't know how much logic, I don't know. It probably makes sense in logic too. But it's a very, like, what happened case. Like, what exactly happened here? The family went ahead and got a private investigator. They were able to get another, I believe, Emmy to look at it. Those people are, according to the Unsolved Mysteries episode, feel more or less that she was murdered or she was placed there, but it was not a willing death. It was not someone who wanted to do this to themselves. They even have lawyers now involved as the family representatives because they do not believe that their child could actually do something like this. And one of the guys on there, or when they went to him to receive help, he says, you know, I'm going to look over the case and I'm going to know that, oh God, this child killed themselves, and I'm going to have to tell the parents that this is what happened. And he said he looked at it and he was like, I'm not too sure if that is exactly what happened. She's cremated. At this point, there really isn't much you could do where exhumation is concerned, but there was no rape kit done, as far as I know. She did have a toxicology. Toxicology came back negative. She wasn't on any drugs. She wasn't high. She wasn't intoxicated. Nothing. She was completely having function of her faculties per her blood work. The uncle and I believe it was the father's father, or no, the father's older brother, went back to the train tracks afterwards just to look, just to see if they could find something, and they found stuff strewn all over the train tracks. The New Jersey Transit Police left stuff there. They found her, you know, like parts of her hair with the skull attached to it. They saw all types of stuff. Her bracelet that one of them was able to bring back to the mother. It was a terrible cleanup. Talk about a contaminated crime scene. It was contaminated in the worst way. It really was. But the family is still very distraught. The mother goes out, does her own search. She's walking up and down the same street that her daughter had to walk to get to the train tracks. And she finds her shoes at one point, neatly put together. And she finds her shorts. Is it her shorts? That's another weird thing about this case too. She was half naked, apparently, when she died. And a rape kit wasn't done. Isn't that odd? She was half naked, as according to what I've read and according to what I saw in the Unsolved Mysteries story video. A rape kit wasn't done. I heard and read it in all those other places that a rape kit was done and that they did find male DNA. I did hear that, but that has not been officially documented anywhere that I have read. So I'm going to stay on record and say there was no rape kit done. Although this girl's clothing, some of her clothing, was found, I believe, 2 miles away from where she died. So she was walking in the woods, half naked, and then decided to jump in front of the train tracks. That stuff makes me go, like, that doesn't make any sense, right? I don't know. I mean, suicide sometimes is such a spur of the moment thing. You know, who the hell's thinking about taking off their clothes, gonna go do that? You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, there's really no recourse around that. I believe 2 years later or a year later, the state, they were able to they had to raise their own money to get another autopsy done. they still decided to keep the ruling as suicide. And I believe it was a year later or so, they were able to have the New Jersey State Police investigate this, and the state police, again, sided with New Jersey Transit. So ultimately, this is a case closed. Tiffany Valiante, on July 12, 2015, left her house after an argument with her parents for being, getting caught stealing, and was never seen alive again. She apparently walked, I believe it was almost 4 miles away to the train tracks through the woods, barefoot, by the way, and jumped in front of a oncoming train and died. New Jersey Transit decided to rule it a suicide, therefore it is a suicide. And there is no other way to prove otherwise. So right now, of course, they are hoping that the family can get people, because there was rumors and stuff going on. I'm not going to get into all of that. You can go watch it. There was rumors going around. You know how the rumor mill is already. There was stuff going around that, someone said they did it. We need hard, cold facts. What happened? Based off of all of this, what do you think happened? What do I think happened? I don't know. I honestly do not know. I never thought suicide at first. I will be honest. When I watched it the first 5 times, I don't think I ever thought suicide. I felt convinced that this was a case of murder, rape. Something happened. Someone abducted her. Granted, she's 6'2". I don't know how many people like that get abducted. I'm not sure. But for a long time, I thought it was an abduction, murder. Then I discussed it with my sister, and she was like, no, Keela, that was a suicide. And I was like, why do you think it was a suicide? And then she goes and she tells me why she thinks Tiffany may have done that. I'm not saying I'm fully convinced, but I can see where Tiffany, being looked upon as this golden child, getting caught again stealing, disappointing her parents. And I'm not sure about her psychological standpoint before this. According to the parents, she was happy. She did just break up with her girlfriend, her partner. She lived in Philadelphia, but apparently it was a good split. They were still friends. Everything was cool. She was going to Six Flags the next day. She was fine. She was happy to be going off to college. So apparently that was her psychological makeup at the time. She was in a good place. She was in a good mood. I don't know if disappointing her parents may have set her on a track of I can't come back from this, or I'm just tired. I don't know, but there is a school of thought, and there are a whole bunch of people out there that feel as if that's exactly what happened. I do not completely feel that way. Now, there are some unsolved mystery cases that I will discuss that I'm like, this is what happened, okay? I'm not one of those people who straddles the fence. This case in particular made me straddle the fence because I'm just like, I can't say what happened. I really do not know. I did find it odd that none of her sisters participated and none of her friends participated. None of them. None of them. I found that very odd. That none of her friends participated in that. And I feel like, especially for teenagers, if anyone knows them, they friends know them, and they friends be knowing the truth. I know parents be thinking they know their kids, but it be your kids' friends. Don't fight me. It be the kids' friends who be really knowing what's going on. So I hear it from the parent standpoint, and I understand it, but I'm like, unless the sisters work for the FBI or they're famous or something, why weren't they on there talking about this? And unless these friends are just whatever, why weren't they on Unsolved Mysteries? At least one friend saying, yeah, Tiffany would never do this. Tiffany, that was my homegirl, that was my best friend. Why? So that little disconnect makes me pause too. I think there was more going on with Tiffany than what is being discussed. I do not. I know she wasn't as squeaky clean as Unsolved Mysteries made her come across. I'm not going to say that the parents did. But Unsolved Mysteries portrayed her story as if she was just squeaky clean, all-American girl, never caused any problems, just fine. When I don't think that was exactly true. So for this one, unfortunately, I can't give a definitive alleged theory of mine. I want to know what you guys think. Because if it was suicide, my God, a train? My goodness. She could have run in front of a car. Like, a train? Sheesh. That's a difficult way to go. A very gruesome way to go. And if it was murder, what was the motive? And why? You mean to tell me somebody killed her over... Because I think that was why the headlights point was mentioned in the Unsolved Mystery Show. Oh, there were headlights at the end of the the driveway. I think they were trying to portray it as, oh, somebody, you know, must have came back for her to harm her or whatever because of what she did. And I'm like, I don't think nobody killing nobody over that. That's a serious thing to do over a little money. And, you know, people crazy, don't get me wrong, people kill for less, but it just seemed a little bit too far-fetched for me. And I know the television show has to give an angle, but that seemed a little bit too far-fetched for me. So I'm not exactly sure why that went down, but I don't, if it was murder, I feel as if it's more objective than a subjected murder. Meaning someone picked her up in the car, someone saw her walking along the road and was like, hey baby, come here, let me, you know, and did that. But I'm like, you know, were there other cases around, you know, where people were being taken and thrown in the woods and killed and laying on train tracks? Like, I don't know. I want you guys to do your own research. If you guys like this story or like what I just did here, you let me know, okay? Because I want to talk about it like I'm not playing. Say something in the comments. Share this with other people who may like it, and let me know. Okay, so that is my Unsolved Mysteries spiel. This is the things that literally go through my head when I'm talking to people. Like, real talk. Really quick before I go, what I'm into right now, I'm reading. Not intently, heavily reading. You guys know how I feel about Love Belvin, so of course I'm listening to the Muted series again because I'm crazy and I have a problem where Ashton and Tori are concerned. If you don't know, you need to go find out. But I decided to read Alex House's dark romance, Lilith. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good little quick story. I downloaded her Christmas audio, Jingle Jangle, so I'm going to listen to that in December, hopefully. What else? What else am I reading? Nothing that's worth discussing right now. I'm not reading anything else like that. I need to get back into my reading. I am reading. I am. I'm always reading something. I'm always indulging in something. But yeah. Oh, Rather. I just finished Rather by Gray Huffington. Okay. I thought chemistry was crazy. Rather and Priest. Let me tell you something. Ezra is bae. Love Belvin's Ezra is bae. No questions. Like, I'm not doing this with y'all right now. He's bae. But Priest came a close second for me, where I ain't pulling the trigger on Priest yet, but he was a close second for me from Rather. Let me let that simmer sit down. So the name of the book is Rather. That is book 2 of the Gray series by Gray Huffington. If you don't know, please go find out and read it. Excellent book. But what I do want to talk about is a show that I am watching right now that I was not expecting to like, because of the travesty Tyler Perry did to it. Alex Cross on Amazon Prime is good. Really, really good. I am enjoying it. Aldous Hodge, he's doing a fantastic job. And all the co-stars and his love interest on there. Isn't she gorgeous? That woman is beautiful. I'm like, oh, I just love all the black excellence happening all over this. Like, it is just beautiful. Excellently written. It keeps you engaged. If you're not watching it, definitely go watch it. If you're not sure what it's about, it's an adaptation of the James Patterson books, Alex Cross. And this one, I guess you would call it crime thriller. That's the type of story it says, series it says. So definitely get into it. Definitely watch it. I'll probably be discussing it in bits and pieces more on my stories, like I always do. But that is a really good show. So I want to get into that a little bit more. I've been enjoying it. It really keeps you engaged because I'm like, hold on, is there one killer? Is there one villain I'm supposed to be paying attention to, or are there two? You know, like, it's insane. Like, there are so many different moving pieces, but the acting is great. And I almost didn't watch it because what Tyler Perry did to Alex Cross and his adaptation of Alex Cross and what he did was horrendous. I think what Tyler Perry has done for Black people and giving them, you know, acting gigs and putting them on and all the other stuff, I think is fantastic. So don't get me wrong. This is not an attack on Tyler Perry, the man. But Tyler Perry, the actor, had me messed up with that movie. Like, we spent money. Me and my husband spent money to go see that. And it was horrible, okay? So I almost didn't want to watch Cross because of that. But I did decide to give it a chance. And I literally had to stop myself from binging on it because I wanted to savor it, right? So go watch it. Let me know what you think about it. If you've gotten this far, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is humble beginnings for me. So I don't have all the bells and whistles yet, and you know, all the fancy lighting and all the fancy da-da-da-da and all that, but thank you so much for staying with me this long. Again, share, subscribe, like, comment. I'm doing this because I want to engage, okay? So please engage with me. This is fun. Keep it fun for me. Until next time, bye.